know what they're doing with these things. Um,
Absolutely.
which brings us to probably one of the most underwhelming conferences of E3 in
Ubisoft?
Ubisoft. Yes. um, I mean, okay, so you, I personally, I think it wasn't the worst, but it also definitely wasn't good,
No,
save for like
it wasn't the
one.
worst. It was the second worst.
I mean, save for one game, it was bad. Like everything else was, you know,
No, no two games. I'd say,
two. Yeah, sorry,
I'd say,
two. Yeah. Other than the
uh,
two, severely underwhelming.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, all right. So, do you want to start with Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
sure. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. So that was probably, in my opinion, their best one that they showed was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So, I mean, yeah, what I have for it here in my notes is just like probably what most people who are on board with Odyssey are saying is ancient Greece setting, yes, please, times a billion. Like, I mean, come on, like you and I both, like we've been on the ancient Greece train ever since the Rick Riordan and Percy Jackson books from like elementary school. Um, like I just, it's one of those things that you never thought about, or at least I never thought about. But now that I'm getting it, I'm just like, oh my God, this has been a long time coming. Thank God we're finally getting this. And that would be an Assassin's Creed game set in ancient Greece. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know how much I wanted that until Ubisoft just gave it to us. And
Yeah.
now I'm so excited for it.
I think like the most exciting part of it is the fact that you're gonna be able to fucking Spartan kick people.
Oh my God, yes.
that's,
That
that's just right there.
that and the fact that they're not gonna dumb down the mythos from the time. Like they tease that Minotaur, and I'm just praying to God that there's more mythical monsters that they put in this
Well,
game.
they had quite the mythical aspect to Origins as well.
Oh, true. Okay, I haven't finished Origins or started,
Neither
so
have
I'll,
I,
okay.
but
Um,
believe me, I definitely definitely want to.
yeah. I mean, I'll definitely. I always finish Assassin's Creed games about a year and a half after they come out. I did the same thing with Syndicate, and I did the same thing with actually Black Flag. I played pretty early after
Well,
its
it's
release.
just Black Flag was so good.
It was. We could spend a whole podcast talking about the Assassin's Creed series, so let's not.
Yeah,
But anyway,
let's
so
not do that.
Odyssey. God, what a good series. Okay, Odyssey. Yeah. Also, clearly they're diving further into the RPG elements that they introduced in Origins. Like they're doing choice-based dialogue options now, and they're going deeper into the level-based loot and the legendary, loot system, and the combat is looking even more fresh. And I mean, like honestly, out of that entire showcase, the only negative I could come up with for this game is that the player characters seem kind of meh to me. Like Cassandra and Alexios, I think is the guy's name. They don't strike me as much as past player characters have. Like, but then again, how can you ever
So
hold
yeah,
a candle to Ezio and Altair
I'll
and
say,
Edward Kenway? Like, they're
oh
you could
God,
never top those, but like it's been a while since we've had one that's even close to as good as those. Like Jacob and Evie Fry, for example, were kind of meh, and it seems like we're gonna get that same case again. But the game looks good enough that that'll probably go by the wayside. I kind of laughed at this. I liked how they thought they were so sick that you could also play as the female character. Like they revealed it like it was this big new thing, but like, bruh, you literally just did that in Syndicate. You're not.
well,
This isn't
no, no,
new.
no. It was you can have a choice what character you play. Like with
Yeah,
Syndicate, there were missions you had to play as her or had to play as him.
that's true. Yeah.
But in this game, it's gonna be just the one character, so you're not gonna be switching between the two. And whoever you choose, whether it be the female, you're
Hmm.
gonna be able to play for the entire game.
Right. Any other thoughts you have on it? I didn't cover.
I well, it seems like it's having a lot more RPG elements, like more decision based.
Well, yeah, like that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just mm,
Yeah, like I'm down
yes,
for that.
please,
That's such a good idea.
yes.
Long
And
time coming.
well, it's just what I think is this game is going to go about as far as the size of the map.
Mm.
Now, like, if I can go to fucking Athens and to Sparta, just go to all the different like big provinces, I'm gonna be a fucking happy goddamn camper.
Oh,
But
true.
but like if I'm gonna be confined to like Athens or even just one province, I'm gonna be a little meh because it feels I at that point I feel like they're condensing such a vibrant culture
Hmm.
and yeah, no, I
Well,
just feel like that'll be a big no-no.
you know what? I just thought of something that we should definitely touch on, and here's something that might give you faith for that. They're bringing back ship-on-ship combat. Um,
Yes, I did know that.
yeah, so like with that leads you to believe that yes, there probably will be more than one province that you can like, travel to and from with your ship. And I also just want to like definitely note how happy I am that they're bringing that back because that was such a fun, unexpectedly fun part of Assassin's Creed 4, and I've missed it since then. I've always wanted it to come back, and the fact that they're bringing it back for Odyssey is just it's like bless up. Thank you so much, Ubisoft. Basically,
Yeah,
this game they saved their conference with it because it was like they ended the conference with it, and that was a good idea. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
like
yeah. I mean, and another thing though, it goes back to what you were saying about not having any memorable characters. I really like I want them to go back and make characters. Fuck, I forget what kind of characters they're called. Not static, but like
NPCs. Mark,
okay.
continue.
So okay, so where I was so interrupted by my PC going to sleep was I was adding on to your point of characters needing to be more vibrant and they need to be more recognizable. That's what I was trying to say.
Right, and you were saying that
Um,
what was the word for static characters?
yeah, well, no, not static characters, but characters that change over time as
Right.
the story goes on.
Yeah.
I completely forget what they're called, but they need more of those because
Dynamic.
like dynamic. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, so with the very first Assassin's Creed, you start off with Altair. He was basically like fuck the rules. I do what I want. But at the end of it, he's slaughtering his own brethren because they're not following the rules. He like basically does a complete 180 and becomes the grandfather of what the assassin order needs to stand by. In Ezio, he becomes a very like he starts off being a very arrogant lady killing uh kid. And at the end of it, he becomes such a seasoned veteran assassin that is a bit of a humble badass.
Mm,
Like
yes.
you need characters that you can relate to and that you like Altair, even though it was very short and brief and it was just one game, you felt that change and you felt like you were going through a story with him. And Altair or with and Ezio was the same way. You started with this this kid and he became so much more and like each character holds a special place in your heart, but you don't get that with the new characters. They come in and they're like, okay, this is how I want to do things, and that's how they are the entire way through. You just
Facts.
kind of have to get used to them, and like the story itself is good, but you don't really feel anything for the characters.
Yeah.
So I'm what I'm personally hoping for is that to round Odyssey out will be more dynamic characters.
Yes. That'd be a very welcome change. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, yeah, they look like they've already knocked it out of the park with location
yeah,
and gameplay.
absolutely. Um,
Not to mention, I also want to quickly point out it was a very nice touch at the end of the trailer when they showed the logo with the Spartan helmet, and they did just the couple notes from the Assassin's Creed 2 theme. Um, uh, I love that touch because that's basically
Yep.
become the theme. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like that's basically become each game had its own theme, but the Assassin's Creed 2 theme has just become the theme for like the overall series. Just that little, that 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 very somber hum, female voice hum. It's so beautiful, and it's just come to like define this series as a whole. I think I just love that they did that at the end there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No. Definitely.
so ratings.
I'm gonna give it probably a 9.
9. Okay, I gave it an 8. I'd be willing to bump that up even to 8.59. Like I'm pretty hyped for it.
Well, yeah. Personally, when I first started talking about it, I was at an 8, but as I talked about it more, I got a little bit more hyped for it.
Yeah, same. Honestly, same. Yeah, I'll give it 8.5. That's where I'll settle.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Uh, Next game I think we have is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
right. Yes. Oh, jeez.
Um, so just a quick disclaimer, neither of us played the first one. Luckily,
No idea
we
what these
both
are about.
yeah, luckily we both heard that this is actually going to be the prequel. So we don't necessarily need to play the first one. We understand though that it is a very big game. It has many diehard fans. Um, but all I can say is I'm not sure what I'm looking at when I watch these trailers, but keep fucking doing it. It is so good. I don't know how I missed the first game. But it's definitely on my radar now. It is
Yes.
a must pick up for me.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Like these past two trailers, that all we've seen is cinematic so far, no actual gameplay. Well, there was a little bit of gameplay actually, like very little just before they brought out Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yeah.
but like yeah, just based on the cinematics alone, like yeah, I've been enamored with what I've been looking at, even though I have no clue what I'm looking at. Like,
Well,
why are there
yeah.
talking monkeys and talking pigs?
But
Um,
not only that, but like the talking monkey is so fucking funny. I
he's
fucking
great.
love the characters, and I've only seen them for a matter of 2 fucking seconds each.
Yeah, no, and like last year he basically sold that trailer, and then yeah, no, I don't know. There's something about this game that it's definitely intriguing, even though we've never played the first one.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what I'm looking at,
Yeah,
but it has me hyped. I
we have another game like that coming up later.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
that's right. Anyway, yeah. So I'm I'm completely sold. I'm definitely getting it, but like I said, I have no idea what to say about it other than it looks awesome. The characters look great. I the story looks very deep and vibrant. So I'm hyped. All I can really say about it because I don't know anything about it.
So what would you rate it then?
I'll give it an 8.5.
8.5. No, wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give it. I know I said a lot of good things about it. I'm gonna give it a 6, maybe 7.
Yeah.
Nah, 6. 6.5.
6.
Just because
Wow.
I just want to keep seeing more of it. That's all.
Ryan, you're a terrible
I
person.
know. Fuck me, right? Fuck me for being cautiously optimistic rather than
Literally,
balls to
the
the
only
wall.
other game Ubisoft that was worth mentioning, and you give it a
Well,
6.
that's just an indictment on my ratings for the games to come, more than
They're all
anything.
0.
Well, they're pretty fucking close. I mean, so
They're all 0 except for the Crew 2. That's the
let's
only one I'd be willing to give
let's go to
higher
the
rating.
Division 2, which you mentioned earlier. Um,
Fucking awful.
I mean, yeah, what I had written for this was pretty short and simple. Basically, meh, didn't get number one, and this one doesn't look any more or less captivating enough than that one.
Yeah.
Probably a Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 sitch, same shit, different day.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I said. I said more of the same. Looks like you're just paying for DLC that's worth the price of a full game. Like there's nothing fucking different.
Yeah,
about the Division and the Division 2. Like, I don't know why you'd waste your money on it,
yeah.
to be honest.
See, I've already
Like, you
done
get
that
a
with.
new area, and just
Yeah, it's disappointing. The first one looked so promising. I remember you and I being so hyped about the
and
first gameplay trailer for the first one, and then it's just been disappointment ever since.
well, yeah, and the first one was great, but again, just like the problem with Destiny, the end game falls so short.
Mm.
Ah, like the Dark Zone, which was the PvP area and basically the end game. It was so fun, but you basically fucking get that with battle royale games now. It's not worth it at all.
Yeah, and Fortnite's free, so can't beat
Yeah,
free. All right. So anyway, yeah, I gave the Division 2 a 2. Might as well give it a 0 though.
gave the Division 2.
Yeah, I gave the Division 2 a 2.
I am gonna give it a 0.
Honestly, I don't even know why I gave it a 2. It deserves a 0. It deserves not a second more of my time. Um,
Yeah, I'm not even gonna fucking think about getting it. Like, I know there are people that fucking still play the first division to this day and are diehard fans, and all I have to say is you're a fucking idiot.
oh, all I would say is more power to you, but not for me. Let's try and be diplomatic here, my guy.
I don't know. I just think you'll have more fun Borderlands 2 referencing coming headbutting a sandbelt.
Mm. Nice. Like a fraction of a
Anyway,
fraction of people are gonna get that one.
yeah.
Um.
Anyway,
Anyway, what?
next.
Oh yeah, sorry. Skull and Bones.
Fucking awful. Like,
Uh,
the premise of the game, so promising, and then you're imprisoned on your ship.
yeah. I
Woo!
mean, reading
Hope
from my
you
notes again.
you liked
Was
Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Well, here's a whole game of that, but no more walking on land. We know you fucking hated that part of the game.
it's like, yeah, who did they interview to get that information? Because that's so dead wrong. Like what I said about Skull and Bones. Fairly intrigued last year, kind of lost it this year. If I wanted to play a game like this, why not boot up AC4? Done.
Yeah, and like again, it was so promising because how long has it been since a good pirate game,
Well, some people.
excluding Assassin's Creed or Black Flag?
Okay, well, some people would argue Sea of Thieves is a good pirate game. I would disagree.
Fuck no, it's so mediocre at best.
Yeah, really underwhelming. Um,
The content is not there at all.
and it's like it's too cartoony for actual
Well,
piracy.
yeah, and I don't mind cartoony. It's just no content,
No,
no
yeah.
money from me. Haha.
Anyway, Skull of Bones 0.
0 for me as well. I that could change if they release a Skull and Bones 2 and it's like a full-fledged pirate game where you can go on land. Like basically Assassin's Creed Black Flag without the assassins and like make it an actual pirate game. Because like the
Exactly.
last good pirate game I actually played, I think, was a Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, wow, that
Like,
says a
and
lot.
not knocking that series at all, but like that came out. That was like a release for like the PS. Yeah, just very untapped potential for a series or like for a genre of game,
Yeah,
and finally something that could have been a godlike game, and they destroyed
they biffed
all
it.
of our hopes and dreams.
All right. You already mentioned it. But yeah, the last one, at least for me to mention from this conference, is The Crew 2.
Or two.
Opening thoughts.
Well, honestly, yeah, this is the only other game I would even entertain the idea of getting that was from Ubisoft. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if I'd get it, even if it was for a bargain. But like the Crew one, I bought it and I loved it. No, I don't regret the purchase at all. I played it so fucking much, but it fell off for me I lost a lot of interest as time went on. Better games came out, and I feel like I got everything I would want to get out of that game. Like, I just personally, I don't think number two with planes and fucking uh,
Votes.
boats. I don't think that's enough to bring me back to the series.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm just gonna be echoing those sentiments. I don't really have much more to add. Like same with you. I really loved the crew when it first came out. I love the crew since that first trailer they showed us,
Yeah.
with that awesome music in the background, and just the
And
idea of it.
slowly zooming out
Oh,
into
the
the
reveal of the
US.
map being the USA. Oh, I still remember how we lost our shit when we saw that.
And
But
you know what? That was amazing. But they again, the crew two, it didn't expand on that at all. Like it
no,
would have been awesome if it was like all of North America.
oh
But yeah, again, untapped potential that
yeah.
again, they're just letting fall flat on its face.
It's just yeah, it doesn't the Crew 2 doesn't scream like there's any more end game or like stuff to keep us around because like that like you said that was a problem with the first one, right? It's like it's fun to start with, but once you beat the campaign, get a couple nice cars, like okay, then what? And
Yeah.
like the Crew 2 just seems like it's the same exact thing, but hey, you can also fly a plane and a boat. So,
Yeah, again, it just seems like DLC
yeah.
that you're
Yeah,
paying the
really.
full game for.
Yeah.
Like I remember the crew came out with DLC. It was just they came out with it just after you and I stopped playing it. It included monster trucks and everything. It really doesn't feel like that much more of a jump.
Yeah, really. Arguably, if they just kept the Crew going long enough, that would have been the next step anyway, planes and boats.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um,
so sorry, did you have
well,
more to add?
I have three other games that I put on my list, but the only reason I put them on there was because I felt bad only having Assassin's Creed and Beyond Good and Evil for one conference. So I'm completely fine with skipping over them like Ubisoft conference. They're easily forgettable and I have no problem never mentioning them.
Okay, so all right, quick rating for the Crew 2, and then we'll move on.
Uh, 3.5, 2.
Okay, I gave it a 4. But the 4 is that 4 might even be generous just based on my
Generous.
nostalgia for the first one. It might actually be closer to a 3.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, first, can I just before we move on from Ubisoft, I just want to fucking say, For Honor DLC. Why the fuck are you people still playing that
oh
goddamn game?
yeah.
Starlink, what the fuck? Pat, why would you want to put fucking something like Skylanders on your goddamn controller? No, no, and no. You people should feel bad and you should die. And Trials Rising, I get that there's a fucking big fan base for that game, but was not one enough. It is not a very complex game. It is a you're basically doing parkour on
Yeah,
motorcycles.
who
One
needed a
was
sequel?
enough.
Like Christ.
Yeah, so that's all I have to fucking say.
Okay. That's a good
Ubisoft was awfully disappointing.
that's a good summary. I think good as place as any to end it. Speaking of good places to end things, let's go to the second best conference of
Well,
E3.
instead of ending it on Sony, let's just fucking quickly just say we're not going to get into Nintendo because
Oh, true. I forgot about Nintendo again. Oh shit.
why the yeah, okay, but Ryan, why the fuck would we want to watch Smash for 90% of the goddamn conference?
Right. Okay. See, you saw the
Like,
Nintendo conference, so I'll let you handle this real quick.
here's Smash Brothers, here's nothing else. Great.
Yay.
No Metroid, no
Pokemon.
no info on ported games, no Pokemon, nothing. It was so disappointing. Anyway, moving on from that, the worst conference there is, just behind fucking Ubisoft, we'll go to the best or not the best conference, but the second best conference,
Yes.
Sony. Now,
Sony.
do you want to save the best for last, or do you want to just throw the big dick right on the table, like they fucking
Like
did.
they fucking did.
Yeah, they had no problem showing it off first.
You know what? Let's save it. Let's save it for last. I just want to say quickly, on the whole, Sony's conference, it was a very interesting approach this year in that they decided to only show, I think, 4 or 5 games and just go for the real quality over quantity thing. It was, I didn't hate it because of the games they did show are games that I'm all very interested in and wanted to see. Um, but I also, it was kind of disappointing just because I wanted to see more from Sony, and we didn't get that. But it's whatever. It's like I can look past that because the games they did show and what they did give us was just so good. So that being said, where do you want to start, Mark? I'll let you choose.
I think Death Stranding
Oh
would be a
fuck
good
yes,
starting point.
yes. Okay, you can go. You
um,
start.
well, yeah. See, I personally, I'm a lot more unsure than the average person, and that's again not to say I'm not fucking insanely hyped for the game. Uh, Kojima in general is just a god among men.
Mm,
Um, what I have written down is it could be one of the greatest games of all time, as long as they keep its mysterious feel. Now, contrary to popular belief, I think the game might fall flat if you know it doesn't. The biggest thing about the game right now, the biggest thing about the trailers is nobody knows what the fuck is going on,
accurate
and
statement.
and like that is super appealing. It is a game nobody knows dick about, but everyone's hyped for, and I think part of the reason is because nobody knows dick about it.
Hmm.
Um, it has a lot of mystery to it, and I they're they beautifully portray how simple the human brain can get hyped for such an amazing game like Death Stranding. Just based on the fact that, again, nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and we all want to know what's going on. It does it so well, playing with our emotion aspect. Um, but if we get the game and it it lays all of its cards right out on the table within the first 5 minutes, I think it's a game that will be very likely to fall flat on its face because I think it will not reach anybody's expectations if they know what's going on.
Well, I mean, to that point, I will definitely end up being, as I'm sure you will be. Um, well, maybe not. Uh, I am willing to let myself be completely and utterly disappointed at this point. I have thrown myself entirely at this game.
Well,
um,
yeah, and again, I'm the same way. I don't want uh, my thoughts on the game to you know
Come true.
cloud the fact that I am unbelievably hyped for this game. I love Kojima so fucking much. I was so hyped for Silent Hills
Oh,
until
rest
they
in
fucked
peace.
it. But
Fuck you, Konami.
yeah, but yeah, no, I think it's gonna be an amazing game, and I think the what I'm saying about the game is very improbable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. And it's
continue.
and it's it's smart and safe to have those concerns because you're right. Like this game, we've finally got our first inclination of gameplay from this trailer, and that's 4 trailers in at this point. And all it was a bunch of walking around, and at the very end, he pulls out a gun. So it's a lot of faith, but if you were gonna have faith in anyone, Kojima is probably the best person to have faith in. And I don't know, just I am an absolute sucker. First of all, for deeply story-driven games, but second of all, for stuff that's exactly like this, like super mysterious. Nobody knows what the fuck's
Mhm.
going on. Like things that can be like theorized about, and I don't think anything screams like madman theories more than the trailers for this game. Like, holy shit. The amount of fucking weird ass theories and videos I've watched about like the first trailer alone when it was just naked Norman with a baby on a beach with a bunch of fucking handprints. Um,
And 7 men floating in the
and
sky.
then no, it's five. It's five black figures in the
Five,
sky.
sorry,
Yeah,
5.
and then moving on
Next, it'll
to
be 6 warning shots at them.
then what? Then it moves on to what Mads Mikkelsen's reveal, and Guillermo del Toro in the like the war torn, I think European city, and then all the weird shit that happened there. This
Yeah,
continuing theme of babies, and then we move on to the third one, which was bonkers, like at the video game awards last year, where it was like like the guy aging from the rain and then the other guy trying to kill himself and then floating upwards and then Norman seeing this big ass fucking Goliath monster that like again Lovecraft themes. Hello, thank you, yes please. And then it's just and then this new one. It just drove home more than, it took the last three and it just drove home this you have no idea what's going on, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But we promise you, you're gonna love playing me. Um, and I don't know. I am completely on board with whatever Death Stranding's trying to sell me. I don't know what it's trying to sell me, but I want it. I just want to be able to play this game and still not know what the fuck is going on. I just need to have it in my life because of that's how intriguing these trailers have been. And I don't think I mean, what can we say about the actual game itself? Like, I'm a big fan of Norman Reedus. Okay, I'm a big fan of Mads Mikkelsen. I am a huge fan of Leia Seydoux' character. I definitely want to see more of her. And I have some theories about her connection to Sam, Norman's character. Um, and fuck, we could do a whole podcast on theories of Death Stranding, to be honest. And but just the other thing I just want to quickly but importantly drive home is how visually stunning this game looks. Like, come
yeah,
on. Like, the graphics are just top notch. Like, they look so real, so beautiful. Um, and then, secondly, the soundtrack. I think it's a very underrated part of this game so far. And I just want to drive home how fantastic the soundtrack has been so far in the trailers. It was that Low Roar song. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the band. In But that was such a fantastic song in the first trailer, and then this new trailer with Asylums for the Feeling by Silent Poet. It was just beautifully haunting songs that perfectly set the tone, mood, and atmosphere for this game. And I can't say enough good things about it.
no, I completely forget about what the music sounded like, but was it kind of like an M80s?
Sorry, your mic cutting out a bit, dude.
Oh, sorry. Now, like I said, I forget what the soundtrack kind of sounds like,
Hmm.
but or was, but was it kind of like an M83-esque sound
Mm.
to
Yeah,
the
you know what?
songs?
Yeah, if you think about like Wait by M83, um, that's kind of the same feeling that Silent Asylums for the Feeling gave us from this new trailer. And then do you just go ahead and watch the first trailer again, and you'll know what song I'm talking about. Low Roar is more it's more unique. I can't really think of a good comparison right now, but it's just M83 has fantastic music because again, it's so atmospheric, and it looks like Hideo Kojima has really done his research for the type of music he wants in Death Stranding, and it does definitely have that M83. If there's an M83 song itself in Death Stranding, I will nut. Um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
fair enough.
it's just something I definitely want to drive home because it seems like this is definitely a passion project for Kojima, and I think he's leaving no creative aspect untouched. He's making sure he takes his time with this, which is a bit of a bummer for us, but I think that just lends more credence to the belief that this will truly be a good game.
Yeah, I yeah, I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. I have faith in Kojima, but like all my gripes and all my worries were from a logical standpoint,
Yeah,
and
which is fair and fine.
yeah, and but like again, I'm completely and utterly hyped for this game.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, with that being said, what do you give a rating for? Unless you're not done with it.
Oh, no, I'm done. Yeah, no, I'm ready to give it
Right.
its rating, and this is my third of the four 10 out of 10s for the E3. This is a 10 for me.
Yeah, I like mine would be at a 10 too, but again, I do have those worries. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Still good. That's still pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, no, it definitely like once I see more and once I know for a fact that it's going to keep that same mysterious feel throughout the entire game and nobody knows what the fuck is going on till the very end and it leaves you jaw dropped and just emotionally devastated. Not because it's like a sad ending or anything, but just because everything comes together and you're like, holy fucking shit. Because that is the kind of game that Kojima is going for. It's very obvious with the trailers, but I like it's my doubts are not gonna uh like they're not gonna stop until
You're done
I
the
am
game.
left fucking flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the game.
Okay. Honestly, fair.
Like I'm more than sure that it's gonna happen, but again,
Mhm.
logical standpoint, it there's a chance it won't.
All right.
All right.
What do we got next?
I have written down Resident Evil 2. All
Oh, yes, some of the Microsoft ones. True. Yeah. Okay.
right. So now I fucking love the Resident Evil games. I'm not gonna lie.
Who doesn't?
I've always loved them. I just Resident Evil 6 was a bit disappointing, yes, but I still enjoyed the game. I love the whole aspect of the story, the lore. I love the actual like mechanics of the games and everything. Um, I love the characters. I love everything about the games. Now, Resident Evil 7, when it came out, I knew instantly I was going to get it. What I was worried about with that game was there was like when it was coming out, I thought, fuck, it's gonna be just a fucking family. How the fuck is that gonna be fun? You're gonna have four enemies in the for the whole game, and I was just pissed. Um, it came out and it blew me away. It is it my one of my top three games of all time.
Yeah, I just want to quickly jump in and say one of my biggest regrets in gaming, in my gaming life, is not playing Resident Evil 7 and watching it on a playthrough online first. Like,
Like I would always I'd watch playthroughs of it, sorry, but I would never ever watch past
where you were
where
playing.
I was in the game. Yeah,
I
because
know.
I never like wanted to spoil it for myself, but at the same time I wanted to see other people's reactions. I want to see their choices
Mm.
in the game. And I haven't had a game like that has made me do that in such a long time. And now with Resident Evil 2 being remastered, it's one of the fan favorites. But I just hope because I know it's going to be going to third person, and I feel like it. I feel like I have a right to be worried because when Resident Evil 7 came out, it did something unheard of for the Resident Evil games and went to first person. Now with Resident Evil 7, it is super scary, especially the first time you go through it. Like I remember uh, looking down the dark stairs. You fucking you couldn't see your hand in front of your face with how dark it was, and there was the breathing, and Mia came up, and she was just demonic. It was so fucking frightening, and like I was playing it, and my dad was right beside me, and I was like, I remember looking at him with the breathing there, and I needed a second. I looked at him like I don't even want to walk down these fucking stairs. I know personally I'm gonna be fine, but like what the fuck? Um, now I know a lot of that though is coming from the first person perspective. Third person for me anyway, I can't get as immersed in a horror game. Like I will not get jump scared as much. Um, there are not exceptions to the rule, but there are ways that it can still be scary, but just, it's not gonna like it's not gonna just jump scare you, and not cheap jump scares either, but like shit that you're gonna remember, shit that's going to give you nightmares.
Mhm.
Like there are exceptions where Dead Space, that's a good exception. It's a third
Yeah,
person game, and it was scary as shit,
yeah, like
but
I
not for jump scares and not for walking down those stairs. But at the same time, like with Dead Space, you would walk through the ship's halls and you would just hear emptiness. And then I remember walking by the bathrooms and you would hear whispers following you. And
exactly.
it was just fucking terrifying. And I know there was a lot of hate towards Dead Space 3, but what I fucking loved about that game was there were some parts that, like, especially if you played a co op, this is a perfect example. I played it with my girlfriend, and I remember I was playing as the main character, and she was playing as I forgot his name, but he was the secondary character. I was playing as Isaac. She was playing as him. We were walking through this area, this ship, and everything looked normal to me. Everything about the game, um, but she kept saying, "This is so weird," and I was like, "No, but whatever." And she's just like, "Why is everything about a birthday?" And I'm like, "What?" I, she, I shit you not, she literally called me on FaceTime to show me her screen. Everything about the ship was different. It was set up like a birthday party, and I was creeped the fuck out. And it's just like I said, there's exceptions to the rule where you can still be creepy and scary with third-person games. It's just it needs to be done right, and I'm hoping Resident Evil 2 can do that right. I personally think it's a mistake though to take it away from the first person aspect.
Well, I don't think I have anything more to add to that. That was pretty all encompassing, and I couldn't agree more. Although I do want to stress that given the Dead Space series, they can still pull it off with RE2.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I have faith, but at the same time, I'm still worried, and I think I'm more worried. I think my worries will affect my rating of this game more than previous games I've been worried about.
okay, fair enough. Do you want quickly? Could you move your mic a bit further away from your mouth?
Yeah, I think I heard. Anyway, hopefully that's better.
A little closer.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Continue.
Um, no, I was done.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, so I don't really have anything to add. All I know is that because I missed out on RE7, I'm gonna make sure not to miss out on this one. So, in terms of the Resident Evil 2 remake, I've given it a 7.
And yeah, like I said, um, it's gonna my worries are gonna affect my rating more than previous games that I've given ratings for. I'm yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 7 as well.
Mm. All right. Next up, I know you have a lot on this one. Control.
Oh, actually, I well written down not a lot, but yeah. So Control, uh, as a lot of you guys know, it's made by Remedy, and Remedy has a special place in my heart. Um, they made Max Payne, they made Alan Wake, and they made Quantum Break. Now, Max Payne, that's all well and good, but it was definitely not their strong point. I think their strongest game series is Alan Wake. It's just what Remedy brings to the table is a team of storytellers that it's hard to explain, but their minds work so much differently, and they bring such uniqueness to the games they create. Alan Wake is a perfect example of that. And if you guys don't know what Alan Wake is, it is a game that is basically set as there a writer gets kidnapped and on a vacation. he goes and he's staying at an island in just in a little lake right off of this little town that it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Um, Anyways, he gets kidnapped and brought back to this cabin. He loses memory for a week. He wakes up. He can't find his wife. He goes and he confronts the police about it. They say, "Okay, well, where were you and your wife staying?" He says the cabin out on the lake, and apparently this fucking cabin was gone for 50 years due to volcanic activity, and he's basically saying it's impossible. I was just there, and anyway, it's a big mystery. And then as you go on, you start finding pages that he has written, and he starts finding this dark demonic spirit, and he finds out that he has been kidnapped and held hostage in that cabin somehow for a week, and he's been writing a story, and this story is starting to come true. Everything he writes is coming true, and it's an idea that is completely out there, and it's just so good, and everything about the game was good. The mechanics, the gunplay, I had no gripes with it. If it came out today, the exact same, not even fucking remastered, I would pay $80 like a full game for it. It was just so unique and so refreshing. So with Control, um, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the sky's the limit, but like I said, the game is gonna go as far as the story takes it.
Right. Is that all you have for Control?
That's all I think I need to say for
Okay.
Control.
I mean,
It's
the summary for Alan Wake is sufficient enough to make your point.
yeah, it like they yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Remedy is just
I
it's a
mean,
it's a dev team of geniuses.
yeah. Like based on what I saw of the Control showcase, like the gameplay looks really cool and really unique. So, like the gameplay alone, I was almost sold on the game. And that was before hearing all this stuff you had to say about Remedy and Alan Wake and all that. So like honestly, that just upped my hype even more because like also the concept itself is just really, really interesting. So I don't
Yeah,
know, Control could be like a sleeper hit almost. That's what I kind of think of it. Um,
yeah,
like come out of
exactly.
nowhere and just
Like
blow us away.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed because it was rumored that it might be the next Alan Wake game,
Right?
and I kind of wish it was.
Yeah,
But
me
at the
too.
same time, if anything Remedy makes, I'm gonna be all over it. They can do no wrong in my eyes.
Okay. So rating for Control, what would you
I'll give
say?
it a solid 8.5 or a 9 out of 10.
Okay. For me, it's a probably a. Ooh, what did I write? 6. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. 6. Um. Eh. No, I'm gonna give it a 7 actually, because of
Fuck yeah.
what you said about Remedy and their track record.
Honestly, bro, you should even see if you can get Alan Wake for the PC just to play. It is a masterpiece, and you will not regret that purchase. I guarantee you.
All right, Steam sale, here we come. Um. Okay. Anything else? What's next on your list?
I have Ghosts of
Oh,
Tsushima.
yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Um, well, I don't have much personally to say about Ghost of Tsushima because again, the feudal Japan aesthetic doesn't do it as much for me as it does for other people. But it does look like a really beautiful game, and the fighting looked really cool. So, it's gonna be one that I'm gonna watch and look out for. But definitely not gonna pick up, day one.
See, for me, I'm probably going to be picking it up day one. It looks really interesting. I know the story is going to be so good just for the fact that it's going to be obviously Japan during the Mongol invasion. And yes,
Yeah,
that
shit gets
just sounds
fucked.
fantastic. Yeah, well, like the whole idea of the Mongols, like with Genghis Khan and everybody, they were an unstoppable force. I remember I read a statistic that said they probably extended uh the like fuck the ozone layer's lifespan by fucking like 300 years just based on how many people they killed.
Oh my goodness.
It,
I
it just sounds fucking hilarious. Well, not hilarious,
oh
obviously. Obviously, that's pretty tragic, but um, at the same time, like that
you couldn't ask for a better
it's just
villain, is what you're trying to
yeah,
say, I think.
exactly.
Like
Yes, definitely not funny. Just
moving on.
uh, yeah, super enticing. It's going to be action filled, and the whole aspect of it, you're going to be against all fucking odds in the game. It just sounds so good. So, but aside from the storyline, I just hope the combat is fluid, and I hope it is true open world. We haven't seen anything about the map. The
Right.
gameplay we saw, it seemed pretty confined to a level.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's something we have to see more on, but has a lot of potential.
Fair enough. Um, I mean, rating wise for me, 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd give it about a 7.5.
Okay. What do you have next?
I have Neo 2.
Oh, I don't have anything for this, but yeah. Anyway, I'll you go for it.
I don't have a whole lot for it either. Other than I hate to be that guy that says it's just like Dark Souls. Um,
But now it is.
yeah.
Now that
Well,
Sekiro's a thing.
yeah. Well, but no. More or less, I was super interested in the first Neo. I even to this day I thought about getting it, but well, with Neo 2 being a thing, I'll be picking it up. But yeah, I was super interested in Neo, but I never got it, and now I'm going to get number 2 based on the reviews of the first game. Like everybody fucking raved about it. Everyone was like, "Holy sleeper hit!" Um, and again, it's like a Souls game set in feudal Japan. I think we've covered enough of how much I fucking love feudal Japan.
Right. But my
Um,
argument is why bother with that when you can have the same thing that's actually made by From Software?
Ryan, fuck off.
I'm just,
No.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like that's why I'm not gonna bother with Neo
And
2 is
like,
because
why can't I have multiple of the same, regardless of if they're the exact
okay,
same, but like
okay,
they'll be the
your
same
money,
feel.
your money, your call.
I know I'll enjoy it. So fuck you.
Okay, that's fair. No comment. Do you have?
Anyway, that's the end of my Sony list. Well,
I have.
obviously I can say Spider-Man, but
Well,
I can
yeah,
like wing that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got Spider-Man next on mine too. Uh,
Oh,
sorry, what?
oh no, you go ahead. I
Okay.
was
I mean,
gonna.
I was just gonna say, I don't think I've been like I used to fiend like some of the old school Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Uh, what comes to mind is Spider the Spider-Man game for I think it was Windows. It came out for a bunch of platforms. I had it on Windows and it was made by uh, Treyarch or Activision. I think both actually. Uh, and it was based on the first movie. And I remember playing that and it was
Spider-Man 2, right?
no, I didn't get Spider-Man 2. I don't think anyway. Spider-Man 2 is the big one that like everybody's played. I played the one before it, the first one, Spider-Man 1. I think it was called Spider-Man the movie, the game. um anyway, so I fiended that and I also had a Spider-Man game for my Game Boy that I can't remember the name of. But anyway, I've always loved the Spider Verse. Like Spider Man has always been like my favorite superhero, and I love all of the villains in the Spider Man world. They're all so different and unique and cool, and so I am so down for a current gen Spider Man game. that will have amazing graphics like this one clearly has, and also like a plethora of Spider-Man villains. Like we've already seen Rhino, Scorpio, Shocker, fucking Vulture. Like I I pray that that's not it. That there's still more. That they're gonna either show us or just have in the game for us to discover. But even if that's all they give us, I won't be too upset because I mean, a good Spider-Man game for me has been a long time coming, and I'm done waiting. I'm ready to buy this one. So yeah, I'm hyped for this one. The combat
Okay,
as
yeah.
well also looks fantastic. Sorry. Okay, you go.
No, honestly, yeah. Pretty much the same for me. I just looked it up as you were talking, actually. Spider-Man 1, I is actually a game I fiended as well. Um,
Hey.
but yeah, I never really got into any superhero game past that. And what I was gonna say was this is gonna be the first superhero game I played since then.
Mm.
Uh, I'm super excited. Like I didn't even get to play the fucking Deadpool game,
Oh,
and
oh, what a good game that was.
yeah, it's just yeah, I'm so excited to finally like get my hands on a superhero game again. And not only that, but I feel like this is such a good game to jump on
Mm.
for it. So yeah, no, I'm hyped. I just don't have a lot much else to say about it. It looks so good.
Yeah.
I like you've pretty much had hit the head of the hammer on the nail, if I can fucking talk right. Um, yeah, you pretty much hit the head on the nail.
Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head. Fuck my ass. I need to I need to kill myself right now.
Okay, slow down. We've been talking for a while, that's all.
Yeah, and it's getting close to midnight,
It is.
and we're gonna play Fortnite after this.
Yeah, no, the boys are probably already asleep.
Well, duos.
Yeah, and then we can also play. We'll just tell them we'll fiend it tomorrow
Yeah,
in between
and
editing sessions.
fuck, and yeah. I mean, like, there's gonna be so many different villains. There's gonna be so many characters, and it looks fucking
Oh,
phenomenal.
yeah.
The
God, it looks
graphics are
good.
amazing, and yeah, there's not much else to say about it
Yeah,
than yes, I want it in my life.
yeah. I mean, so rating wise, it's a 9 for me. Easy
9.
9.
Okay,
Yeah.
mine's gonna be an 8.
Okay, fair enough. Um, okay, I only have 2 games left on my list. I don't know about you.
I have 0.
Oh, you have 0. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have 1 technically. You know which one we're ending with.
Oh well, yeah,
But
yeah.
there's one before that, and this one I'm not surprised you didn't have this one on your list because this one actually wasn't in any of the conferences, but I just want to touch on it once more before it comes out. Um, Days Gone, because
Fuck.
like it wasn't at any of the conferences, but it was on the show floor. I heard,
Yeah.
and they did do
Yeah.
some
No, it definitely
panels and
was.
shit. So yeah, just quickly touching on Days Gone, like.
Um, I'll I actually no, it's not gonna be just quickly touching on it. I actually have a lot to say about.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I paused because me too. But you go first. Maybe you'll cover most of what I want to say.
Well, I don't know. It's been a long time coming for a zombie game like Days Gone to
Yes.
come to us.
Preach.
I'm not trying to diss The Last of Us or anything. It's great in its own way, but like just the chaotic nature combining with the obvious story that is very prevalent in Days Gone is going to be amazing. And what's honestly amazing about Days Gone to me personally is the ever-changing open world. Like I remember watching in a gameplay trailer, he was riding his bike along until he saw a figure move from a car to the behind a tree, and he took a second, he went around, and he saw 2 people behind a tree tugging on a rope that you were not going to be able to see, and they were going to try and ambush him. And they said that is a random event that'll happen, and there are many more like it around the world, and it is a completely open world. It's just there's so much content there. There's so much there's so much what's it called? Fucking well, I guess you could just say content again
Yeah, gameplay.
of or yeah, gameplay even of ever changing oh my god. I completely lost my train of thought. There's going to be so much content there that it's just going to be different and new and exciting and
You talking about like
I
that
mean,
replayability factor.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, anytime you leave your safe zone, you're not going to have the same adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. You brought it back.
Yeah. Man, it's fucking late.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Um, I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like, I've been in love with the concept of this game literally since that first trailer you showed me, where it was like, the main character whose name I can't remember, running from that absolute massive horde of zombies, um, in that abandoned farm area, and it's like they've shown less of that as the game has, been shown more of.
Because I feel like it's because they don't think they need to show anymore. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
no,
come
that like
on.
yeah, I'm not actually complaining, like, because I know it's in there because of the first couple trailers, and it's just I'm so excited to have a game. It's basically like that gives us zombies on the level of World War Z, while also giving us what is clearly a unique and interesting story, and a very massive, as you touched on, open world. Like open world with massive zombie hordes. Like what more could you want? And like it looks like this is the game that will finally pull it off right, you know?
Yeah, and yeah,
So,
yeah, I'm super hyped.
yeah, I
It's
can't wait.
and just yeah, I really cannot wait for such a unique experience that that game's gonna provide. Because I don't know how else, but like fuck, even the fucking trailers where it's not only fucking like zombies you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight against these uh bandits that,
Yeah,
like I just
true.
said, the trap on the road. Um, and there was another trailer where he was walking through the woods and wolves became an issue.
Yeah. Or
Like
like,
there's so many. It's just gonna be a nice change of pace and like a very realistic zombie game
hmm,
where
yes.
everything is out to kill you, and it's like so many zombie games focus on just the zombies.
Or
I
even
don't know.
worse, just the humans, and like they
Yeah,
forget about the fact that they're supposed to be a zombie game.
yeah,
Yeah, so Days Gone for me is a 9 as well.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Now it's the
are we
time.
there? Okay. I'm
We are there.
sure all the viewers know what we're about to get to here. um, The Last of Us 2. Part 2,
Uh,
I should say.
the fucking big ass elephant in the E3 room.
Yup. I mean, fuck, where do we even start with this monster? Uh,
Best game of all time.
I mean, well, yeah, okay. Personally, The Last of Us 1 is
Hey,
the best game of all time for me. Bar none, hands down, better than Bloodborne, better than Borderlands 2. It is my absolute favorite game. It changed me as a human being, I think. I was not the same person after I finished that game, and I can't even count the amount of times I've replayed it. Like I've beat it on grounded mode or whatever the hardest difficulty was. I've played it and replayed it and replayed it, and I just cannot get enough of Joel and Ellie's story. And the fact that when they finally announced a part two, I was overcome with emotions that I couldn't possibly describe. And seeing that first trailer broke me a bit, but it also made me so, so happy. And the more I've seen of this game, the more in love I've fallen with the idea that I'm going to get a second one. I have more to say, but if you want to jump in, go for it.
well, I'll jump on where you're kind of like leaving off. What I'm really happy that they've done though with the trailer, because it's no fucking secret that The Last of Us is probably the best game of all time. Um, I really like though that obviously they know it that it's a fucking amazing hit that they have on their hands. But the trailers are showing, they're not showing a lot, but they're showing just enough to
Mm.
make people question what's going on there, keeping the audience engaged, but at the same time not ruining the story for
Yes,
them.
they're not
And
giving
that's
anything away.
yeah, and that's what a lot of games do poorly.
You're
Um,
so right.
and the game means so much to me. It means so much to you. It means so much to the fucking community.
It does.
It's like I wasn't fucking lying when I said within 10 minutes of the first game, I had a manly tear fall out of my um when Joel had his um offspring oft
Yes, his
uh,
daughter.
his offspring oft. I'm just say that because it sounds funny and it doesn't hurt at all. Um, but yeah, everything about the game, it was amazing. The gameplay, the story, everything was a 10 out of
Graphics,
10.
yeah.
The graphics were 10 out of 10. Everything about the goddamn game was a 10 out of 10. The characters, uh, we can go on for even longer
Oh,
than this podcast has been going on, just about the story alone
easy,
of
easy, bro.
The Last of Us. And but anyway, to jump further into The Last of Us 2, it looks on it leaves you speechless, and not even just the story, but the gameplay trailer. It I don't understand how they could have one-upped their gameplay from The Last of Us 1, but everything was so fluid. If you could remember in the trailer, Ellie was trying to shoot at somebody and realized she was out of ammo. While she was running, she ended up scooping a bottle off of a table right next to her and throwing it at the guy. And it was so fucking fluid. I thought I was watching a movie. It, uh,
I mean,
it,
the key word is seamless. Like it just looks
yeah, it,
so
it, it,
seamless.
it looks like a movie, and everything that game stands for, the characters, the story, it's Naughty Dog has everything that created a recipe for a godlike success. There's nothing poor about the game. Like you can look at it and try and nitpick it to find all of its flaws, but it doesn't have one. It doesn't have a single flaw. There's nothing about the game that is poor. It and there's not many games that can say that.
No. I mean, yeah. I mean, to continue on with what you're saying, like this was because this was the first trailer we got where we actually got gameplay. Um, and I mean, it goes without saying, like this was the showcase of the E3 for me. But I mean, just quickly before I go into the gameplay, I wanted to touch on just how amazeballs and gorgeous the cutscenes still are. Like, I didn't know it was possible for them to actually make it look better than the first game, but they somehow have. Like the lighting in that ballroom was fantastically done. I don't know how they pulled that off in engine, but they did. um, and then yeah, it's just classic Naughty Dog storytelling. Like that scene was so good. And I'm still a bit triggered. We haven't seen Joel yet, other than the first one where we got to see the back of his head, and you know he did get mentioned in this new trailer. But that's besides the point. I'm sure we'll get Joel when we get him. Um, I'm not worried about. I am worried about what might happen to him in the game, but we'll leave that for now. Um, please, dear God. But I also wanted to quickly touch on, just quickly. We won't spend too much time on it, the small contingency of outrage I saw on the stupider parts of the internet about the lesbian kiss. Like did
Okay,
like
yeah.
did y'all not see or play Left Behind? Like that didn't come out of nowhere. Ellie is has and always will be gay. And this is like the age she's at in this game, I think is 19. That's like the time where you're like most kids who have been dealing with homosexuality will probably be at that point comfortable with it, and that's why Ellie was comfortable with doing that. Um,
I have stuff I want to
do
announce
you
as
want to
well.
add to that? Go for it.
Yeah.
I'll jump back in when
Okay,
you're
so
done.
I like again, I agreeing with Ryan. I love the fact that Ellie is a lesbian. I'm going to say it now. I agree with it. What I hate about pop culture is when there are companies trying to conform with this idea of, oh, there needs to be more lesbians and gays and
Hmm.
pop culture. Now, what when I can't stand when they do that is take Solo for instance. Lando Calrissian, he they announced his character as like pansexual or something, but not once in the movie did anything relevant for that come up, and it's easily like it's just a media grab. It is to
Yeah,
throw heat off of them. But if it actually goes with the story, and if Ellie is
it's part of the
visually shown as
character.
lesbian
Yeah,
in her, yeah, it builds her as a character. And if you love Ellie in The Last of Us 1, you have no right to hate her in number 2.
exactly.
You can either hate her in both games or love her in both games. You can't have both.
Could not have said
So,
that better. That's such a good point. I forgot, like, I'm glad you mentioned that because, yeah, there are definitely companies who are guilty of in pop culture just trying to fill quotas for, appeasing the SJWs, quote unquote. Like, that's not what this Ellie situation is. That's not what Naughty Dog's doing. How dare you even suggest that? Ellie, this is just part of Ellie's character, and this is just Naughty Dog doing her character justice. Like, anyway.
yeah, it's just they're building on a character that they created,
Yeah,
first off,
first off is
and
right.
they're building on a character we all fucking love. Just because they fucking put something in the game that maybe you don't agree with doesn't mean like fucking anything has changed.
Exactly.
Fucking it's the same character that you've loved for fucking years, and you have no right to hate it just because of it's not part of your views.
Oh, a little smooch. Get over it. Anyway, tiny rant aside, I did also want to touch on the gameplay too, like you did,
But
because I know for a fact people are gonna say, well, in the first Last of Us E3 gameplay showcase, the combat looked really good, and then it wasn't as seamless and unique in the final game. But asterisk, it was still really good in the final
it's
product.
phenomenal.
And so even if by some believable reason, I'll grant that, the combat isn't as good and seamless and perfect as it was in that showcase, because it is a showcase, so they probably will try and like stage it a bit. Even if it's not exactly what we just saw, it's still going to be good, and it's still going to be, most importantly, better than the first one. And to have combat better than the first one, which already had good combat in my opinion, it's just like that's just bonkers to me. And so like, and definitely some of the things that we saw in that trailer are going to be in the final game. I bet you'll definitely be able to go under trucks. That's badass. I bet the AI will definitely check under those trucks, and situations will unfold accordingly. And I'm sure that there will be certain areas you can fight in where Ellie can slip in between to get to certain enemies, like she did in that little convenience store to get at that one guy. And I'm sure she'll be able to pick up bottles on the run and throw them like as seamlessly as she did. The only thing that like I don't think the combat will be as dumbed down from this trailer as some people might assume. I think it's actually going to look a lot like that, and I cannot fucking wait.
Well, honestly, all I think they took out of that showcase, uh, emphasis on the point of her seamlessly running and grabbing that bottle, is a button prompt. If you add a button prompt, I bet you're looking
Looking at
exactly
actual
what.
gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. And there's probably a button prompt to run under the truck. There was like
Yep.
to uh let me add this point. In a game that I'm not sure how many people that are watching this would play is MLB The Show.
Hmm.
Something, a mechanic in that game is obviously you're waiting where the ball's going to come down, you're about to catch it, and you're going to throw it to a base. Now you can either wait for your person to catch the ball and then press the button to whatever base you want to throw, or you can preemptively press a button and make it so your character will throw to that base right as he catches it, and it is seamless. There's no there's no reason that companies can't start implementing that in. So if you see a bottle up ahead and there's a prompt there, you can easily press square and have your finger ready to throw that bottle as soon as she picks it up. It's like the actual like technology is there. It's just a matter of implementing it, and I'm sure that you can make the game as seamless as you saw.
Very good point. Not to mention how brutal the combat looks too. Like not even just the combat, but just the game in general. Like I love that they didn't listen to any of the naysayers after that Paris Games Week trailer. Like they're just doubling down on the gore and the brutality, if anything.
Yeah.
Like I love that because that's the world that The Last of Us is. It's brutal. It takes no prisoners and it's fucked up sometimes, and that's what I love about it. And I'm glad that that's staying.
Yeah, and you know what? What The Last of Us really teaches you as you play it is to enjoy the little things. Like they really show the emphasis. Like
Emphasis on what?
life
Sorry?
will be appreciating the little things.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
life will be fucked up sometimes. Obviously, like the picture Ellie in prison by a bunch of cannibals, and then think about the exact same game. You were on rooftops trying to catch up to these giraffes running. The most peaceful and most just
Majestic.
simplistic and part of the game. And it was just so beautiful. And I don't know how else to say it, but peaceful. It was that those two parts of the game are part of the same game.
Not even part of the same game. They're like back-to-back levels.
Yeah, it like it's you can have fucked up, but it'll come with the good times.
Uh, anyway, whew, I don't know if there's anything else I could possibly say about The Last of Us. Well, there's plenty I could say about The Last of Us still.
But probably nothing more we should add.
Yeah, no, I think we've made our opinions very clear on The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1.
Fucking 0. Trash game. Why did they waste our time?
I'll give it a 1 plus 0, so a 10.
Mark, 1 plus 0 is still 1.
Not if you add the 0 to the end of the 1.
Oh. Did you just snap point fingers even though I can't see you? Oh my god.
Maybe.
Anyway, obviously this is my last 10. Of course I gave it a 10. I would give it a fucking billion if I could. And I will. A billion on the screen right now.
Anybody that doesn't give this game a 10 out of 10 is mentally ill.
I mean, yeah, I was kind of bummed that we still don't have a release date for it, but I watched the panel the day after and Neil said he doesn't want to give a release date until they're close, and apparently they're still not very close. And it's kind of the same situation as Death Stranding. Like, you know what? You guys take your time, because the longer you have, the more perfect it will be. So, you know what? I can wait. I'll just play The Last of Us again.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, I guess that wraps it up.
Yeah, I mean, we could go a lot more in depth with Nintendo. Who didn't love that Smash tournament?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we've broken 3 hours at this point. I might do this in episodes. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out when I'm editing it tomorrow. How much I have to cut, how long we're looking at. But yeah, that'll probably about do it for us today. I hope you enjoyed listening to our opinions on video games.
I hope you died of old age listening to
I know I almost did talking
it.
about it.
Remember when we started this podcast? Not even Pepper Ridge Farms remembers.
That was actually like at 9 o'clock, and it is now midnight. Oh my fucking god.
Yep. And then my computer went to sleep like 3/4 of the way through it.
Jesus. Oh my god. Well, you know what? I'm glad we did this though.
Yeah.
Had a lot. Clearly, we had a lot to say about that. About
Yeah.
that
Well,
E3.
this E3 was really good.
I mean, yeah, like all things considered, like there were some butt conferences, but the games we got out of it they were worth talking about.
Off Ubisoft, Nintendo.
EA.
Well, EA it was all right. It
Yeah, it was
had
alright.
some. It wasn't the. It was in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. Hey everyone, future Ryan stepping back in here again. I decided to cut the rest of the outro that we had going there because it gets super long and rambly again, as we seem to tend to do. So I figured I'd just drop in and do a quicker, more succinct one here. There's a couple things that we wanted to cover. I mean, first of all, just to wrap up, that was our E3 podcast there. I mean, we had a good time, recording it, and I mean, yeah, we had tons of opinions we wanted to share on all these games, and we're very happy to share them with you on the channel. And yeah, we just wanted to also quickly let you know for something to look out for on the channel moving forward. We play a hell of a lot of Fortnite, and so it seems counterintuitive to not do some Fortnite, content on the channel. But we both realize that YouTube has become just completely inundated with Fortnite content. It's so difficult to do something different and unique in the world of Fortnite on YouTube anymore. So we were thinking, the next best thing is probably for us to just stream it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Because we got a great group of guys that we play with, and we have a lot of fun playing. There's a lot of jokes and good times, and we're all. I mean, some of us, some of the guys aren't as good as some of the rest of us, but the main guys that play, we're all fairly good at the game, so the gameplay shouldn't be too aids to watch. And the nice thing about streaming is you don't have to worry so much about editing or all that. You can just, when you're playing, just turn on a stream, then you guys can drop in and out at your leisure for the entire time that we're streaming. Then I might do stream highlights videos on the channel every now and then for those that aren't able to catch it live. But yeah, so that's kind of one of our content plans moving forward. So look out for that. I mean, other than that, I just want to thank you guys so much if you watched/listened to this podcast all the way through. I know it was quite the trek, but like I said in the first episode, this is our first time doing this, and we honestly really enjoyed doing it, whether it was messy or not. So, yeah, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more of this stuff. And keep the conversation going down in the comments. Either give us some feedback on the podcast or the opinions we shared therein. Either way, we'd love to keep the combo going with you guys. So, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.